My Stardust. Fade in. Exterior, surface of Mars, day. A red sand Sahara. Lightning pierces a distant dust storm. Super. Bagnalled dunes, Mars. Exterior, outer space. A spacecraft powers toward the red planet. Exhaust nozzles discharge white-hot plasma. Attached to its rotating cockpit lander are 4 modules. Each displays a different company logo. One is Interplanetary Corporation, life supported. Super, 2031, NASA Mars Unmanned Mission, MUM. Payload, proprietary technology and lab animals. Interior, living room, apartment, day. Mix of new and old furnishings. Laptop dormant on a desk. Window curtains filter sunlight. Scale models of NASA spacecraft dominate a bookshelf. A rocket-shaped cremation urn beside them. Engraved on it the initials CEM. Below that, Per aspera ad astra. Subtitle, Through Hardships to the Stars. On a wall, a digital image displayer shows a succession of lunar landscape panoramas. Nearby are 2 framed diplomas. Insert the diplomas, which read, Callum Evan McMurphy, Stanford University, M.S. Aeronautical Engineering, 1968. Meghan Una McMurphy, Stanford University, B.A. Education, 1970. Back to scene. In a recliner, Meghan Una McMurphy, 80s, snores. Wrapped in a bathrobe, feet stuffed in bunny slippers, thick glasses and white curls frame a troubled look on her time-worn face. She awakes with a start.
Cal? Tisk tisk. You're surely going mental, Meghan Una McMurphy.
She appears disoriented, adjusts her hearing aid in one ear, channel surfs with a remote, squints at wall-mounted TV. On the TV, images in quick succession, a spaceflight tracking center, different view of the tracking center, another view of the center. Kyron reads, JPL Spaceflight Operations Facility readies the MUM spacecraft for Mars orbital insertion. Back to scene.
It's on every channel, Aura. Poor service, that. I've a mind to have it out with the cable company.
Smiles at a goldfish whirling around in a brandy snifter, beside a glass of sherry. On the end table next to her. Doorbell chimes. Front door package chute bin clangs open. Meghan shuffles over to it. Whirring sound outside draws her attention. She peeks through a peephole. Her point of view. In the hallway, a hummingbird hovers into view, perches on top branch of a potted plant. Meghan blinks several times, lifts 2 packages from chute bin. Whirring sound. She peers through the peephole again. Her point of view. Hummingbird buzzes into view again, lands on top branch of the potted plant again. Meghan smiles, unbolts door, puts her hand on the knob. She pauses.
Better not. Dr. Aries told me to stay inside. Must be the pills.
Bolts door. Interior, apartment, kitchenette, day. She unwraps parcels. 2 frozen blocks of food. Sighs in resignation. Slides them along countertop into the sink. Loud beep from living room startles her. Hand to her heart. Interior, living room, day. She settles at the desk.
Open Skype call from Dr. Aries.
Insert laptop screen, images. Interplanetary logo. Then Dr. Ricardo Aries appears, a smiling silver fox in a lab. Scale model of his company's module behind him. Back to scene.
How's my favorite pen gal doing? I love reading your messages, Meghan. Hope you're not feeling too much cabin fever.
Being inside is no bother for this house mouse, Dr. Aries. I am a bit weary of the iced food. Perhaps they can deliver a takeaway meal now and again? And you've not been by in donkey's years. Come for a visit. Tea and biscuits.
Remember, it's important you stay in your apartment at all times. No visitors. No phone calls. You mustn't contact anyone but me. Breaking our agreement would ruin the seclusion study, and I'd be so disappointed in you. You wouldn't want that, would you, dear?
On my life, I've not so much as set a toe out in the hallway.
I know if Cal were still with us, he'd be so proud. He faced all kinds of challenges, made the ultimate sacrifice. You two kept in such tight orbit with one another, always together.
Meghan's eyes squeezed shut as if wincing at a fresh memory.
All your vital signs are normal, so you're doing fine. Just fine. And let me know if that medicine is helping with those dizzy spells.
Should I still be taking the pills?
There's a saying, the older the fiddle, the sweeter the tune. That's certainly true in your case. I'll send another of these recorded videos soon. You can message me anytime. Goodbye for now, my dear.
Meghan turns, studies a small framed photo on a table.
We were so grand.
Insert framed photo which shows Cal, 30s, grinning, handsome in a NASA jumpsuit, his arm around a radiant young Meghan in a sundress. They lean against a large model spacecraft. Handwritten on photo, "To my guiding star, love always, Cal." Back to scene.
You're my Stardust now.
Strokes a tiny glass vial of granules on her necklace. Shuffles over to recliner, plops down, lifts sherry glass as if in toast, drains it in one swig, eyes drift close. Interior, cockpit, continuous, dream sequence. Panoramic Martian vista dominates viewports. Young Meghan wears a white spacesuit. She's strapped in a crew seat. Beside her, young Cal in the commander's chair. His every move, his every gesture embodies competence, control. He nods, sends her a wink. She clasps control lever beside her seat.
Mission Control, this is Specialist McMurphy. All systems are go. Permission to proceed.
Static hiss over cockpit speakers.
Mission Control. Request go-ahead for lander separation sequence.
More static hiss over cockpit speakers. She and young Cal shrug, trade smiles, extend arms. Their gloved fingertips touch. Young Meghan closes her eyes, follows with a snore. Back to scene. She's asleep in her recliner. One hand grips chair lever. Static hiss from the TV. On the TV. Then Dr. Ares appears on screen.
We're talking now with entrepreneur-investor Dr. Ricardo Ares. The company he founded, Interplanetary Corporation, is competing with 3 other contenders to supply NASA with living quarters for future manned space missions.
Display of images. Interior of interplanetary module. Glass tanks house rabbits.
So tell us, Dr. Ares, in your opinion, why do you think it'll be Interplanetary's module that outperforms the others?
Ares appears confident, self-assured, smug.
Ours alone has fail-safe radiation shielding and artificial gravity, along with normal atmosphere and light cycles.
I understand you're also conducting a full-scale isolation test with volunteers on Earth that mimic the conditions crews will face on a Mars mission.
Yes, they're isolated in quarters designed to provide all the comforts of home. Each participant has an implanted biotracker that monitors their health constantly.
Display of images. Sterile-looking habitat. 3 young test subjects in jumpsuits exercise on equipment.
Very interesting. So what about their food and water?
We use a unique, self-contained waste-into-food recycling system. Food and water are continuously reconstituted and renewed.
It certainly sounds as if those features could keep astronauts safe, healthy, and comfortable on long space flights in the future.
Yes, in the future. But based on system data transmission we're now receiving, I already feel Interplanetary's test module is a complete success.
You mean the test animals on board? They're all doing well?
Yes, behaving normally, as expected.
Video clip plays. 2 bunnies hump in a glass tank. Interior living room, night. Big jolt shakes the room. Along a wall, a sideboard shifts. Partially uncovers a shiny metal wall plate. Meghan wakes with a start. Eyes wide, breath misty. She releases the chair lever, pulls bathrobe tighter.
Another earthquake?
Lifts herself from recliner, scans room. Everything wobbles a few seconds. Aura's fishbowl appears to levitate. Rubs her eyes, pockets Cal's picture, pats it, makes her way to the window. Hand on the wall, peeks past curtains. Her point of view. Streetcar rumbles by below, blurs as it passes.
Those peels are so middling. Ooh. Where did I put my space heater?
She spots wall plate behind sideboard, shuffles over to it, pushes on furniture. Doesn't budge. Sits down on the floor, braces her back against a wall. Shoves with her legs. Sideboard yields. Wall plate's uncovered. Has a recessed handle. Meghan stands out of breath. Inspects plate. Yanks the handle. It's stuck tight. She ponders this. Interior, kitchenette, night. Opens drawers, lifts out flashlight, then skillet and knife. Interior, living room, night. She wedges blade under metal plate's edge, hammers knife handle with the skillet. Bam, 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 whoosh of air as the metal plate swings open. She shines flashlight inside. Her eyes squint. In the dark distant, lights twinkle.
My stars and planets.
A moment's hesitation. She crawls inside. Interior passageway continuous. Mechanical sounds. On elbows and knees she wrestles along, around pipes, beneath electrical lines, toward lights. Interior chamber moments later. Wriggles out into a passageway, struggles to her feet. Surfaces covered with light panels, latched compartments. Pipes and cables snake along walls. She teeters onward. A round window offers her a view of distant pinpoints of light. Then she sees them. Arrayed on both sides are clear boxes with rabbits, rats, hamsters. Noses pressed to plastic, staring at her. She opens a box, lifts out a rabbit.
A pet shop? Here? What a muddle. What's this all about, Fluffy?
Cradles the animal. Moves along to a door panel. Hesitates. Looks unsure, as if she might retrace her steps. Presses a red button on a bulkhead. Panel slides open. She steps through, into another chamber. Shock on her face. It's the cockpit of the Mum spacecraft. She stands there, awestruck. Stumbles up a ramp. Passes white spacesuits hung from a bulkhead. Moves to crew seats. Takes in vistas of Mars through helm windows.
Looks so real. Your dream mission, Cal. Sure it is.
Deposits Bunny in a crew seat. Moves to commander's chair. Pivots to co-pilot seat. Glances around. Plops down. Reaches forward. Gently taps manual flight controls. Grips them. Her expression turns rapturous. Silent alarm light flashes overhead. Interior JPL Space Flight Operations Facility, night. Over loudspeakers an alarm wails. Along rows of workstations, techies stare at giant wall screens. Superimpose, JPL, Mum Mission Control. Executives, news crews, security guards stand transfixed on a dais at the back of the room. Dr. Ari's among them. He wobbles as if motion sick. His hands clamp on a railing. His lips zippered in a tight grimace. On wall screens, unaware, Meghan occupies the co-pilot's seat, smiling, in her bathrobe and bunny slippers. Everyone's bewildered, unnerved.
Who is that, Director Tran? Is she an astronaut? Why is she dressed like that? What's she doing there? Where'd she come from?
Mission Director Tran, 60s, short, wiry, air of authority, looks stunned. Polishes bald head with his palm. Has dealt with the unexpected, the unplanned, never this. He races over to a female techie at a workstation.
Nisha, we're less than an hour from orbital insertion. Tell me one of you is playing this for laughs. It's a joke, right?
No, sir. It's a live video transmission from MUM. I verified that. Twice.
You mean that old woman has been on Mum for almost 2 years? 2 freaking years, and none of us saw her before now? None of us?
Tran glances at other techies. They concur with shrugs.
Why the hell haven't we detected her biosignature? Get her on an audio channel. Find out where she's been hiding all this time.
News crews advance on Tran in phalanx formation, hold out tablets, phones, and recorders like shields.
What's the story? Who's the senior citizen? What's her name? Why was this kept secret?
Escort our media guests out to the waiting area now. Give us a few minutes here, please.
Security guards herd protesting news crews towards exits. Tran stares down the execs. All look clueless. His face betrays an aha moment.
Check for any system anomalies. Recent ones. Anything out of the ordinary, no matter how small. Especially from the modules. Get on it.
What about Granny?
Brad, work up survival scenarios. Nisha, has she said anything yet?
Nothing so far. She's messing with the control consoles.
What's she trying to do?
Sir, I have 2 NASA administrators on hold. One's from Houston, the other's from the Cape.
It's going
Elon
viral
Musk is on
online.
line 3.
Tran spins, faces each person in turn, directs his attention back to Meghan on screen.
I know I've seen her before. Somewhere, on this planet. Try a facial recognition scan.
Sir, I've detected an air breach. Happened a few minutes ago. From a test module.
Which one?
Nutter planetaries.
Everyone gawks at Dr. Ares, flops sweat now on his brow. Execs back away from him like a disease.
Care to enlighten us, Dr. Ares?
A seal failed? That's unfortunate.
What's unfortunate is that you apparently considered an elderly woman expendable.
That's not entirely accurate, Tran. She volunteered. She knew the risks. I do regret not telling you. I just didn't want to tip off the competition.
Execs fire looks of anger, disgust at him.
See you in court, Ricardo.
Dr. Ares takes refuge behind a table. On-wall screen. Meghan repositions her chair, raises it, hums to herself, slips on a crew headset. Tran marches over, steps up onto the dais. Though taller, Dr. Ares withers under his glare.
Explain yourself before I have you arrested. Who is she?
Don't you recognize her? That's Meghan Una McMurphy, widow of Cal McMurphy, the astronaut. She's the school teacher NASA trained for the failed lunar mission decades ago.
And you decided to use her to test your life support systems? For some business advantage? I'm sure as hell she didn't expect to spend her golden years on a spacecraft in Mars orbit.
You're now the first flight director of a manned mission to Mars.
Tran shoves him backwards, hard against a wall.
We're making history here.
Security guards dash over, restrain their flight director.
That lander was never equipped to sustain someone for the duration of this test mission. She'll run out of air before then.
Unless she returns to my module.
How?
Let me speak to her. I've got a stake in this too.
At that distance, voice transmissions are delayed. You can't talk to her in real time.
She's engaged in manual controls.
Try to override her commands. While I'm here, there will never be a NASA contract with Interplanetary.
There's always the Chinese.
Tran pivots, stomps back to the workstations.
I've demonstrated proof of concept. Interplanetary's won. Open a channel. Let me speak to her.
Tran waves his comments away. Interior, Mum's spacecraft, cockpit lander, later. Meghan presses lit panes on an instrument control console.
There once was an astronaut named Cal who could pilot a spaceship like hell. But his biggest success, far above all the rest, was the big bang he gave to his gal.
Panel lights blink.
So chuffed to be here. Either I wake up, or I come to my senses. Or I run out of air to breathe.
An alarm tweets over loudspeakers. Interior JPL flight operations later. Dr. Ares is hunkered down at a workstation. Techies mob him, but in silence.
Meghan, my dear, this is Dr. Ares. Please, stop what you're doing right now. Return to the module, your apartment. I'll call you there. We can talk more about all this and how we'll get you back home safe and sound. Okay?
Interior, Mum cockpit lander, later. Now, in a white crew helmet, Meghan taps on headset.
Didn't copy that. My hearing aid battery is low. Please repeat again. Over.
Insert, a console screen, displays messages. Separation sequence activated. Reverse thrusters at 25%. Warning, cease all attempts to activate manual instrumentation. Mission control must regain access to Mum. Back to scene. Meghan presses her headset button, listens, shakes her head.
Nonsense! We've come this far. Dr. Ares sounded a bit wonky.
Pulls Cal's photo from bathrobe pocket, positions it in commander's chair, drapes over it her necklace with vial of cremains, gives them a thumbs-up sign.
Let's go to Mars, my Stardust.
She pushes flight control lever forward. Her eyes shine, with youthful excitement, and with tears. Exterior, outer space, later. Cockpit lander disengages from Mum's spacecraft. It's a tiny metallic sphere floating over the vastness of Mars. Vectors, a descent towards the red planet's surface. Interior, JPL, flight operations, night. Everyone's slack-jawed in amazement.
Gotta hand it to her.
She'll never make it.
Meghan, dear, please stop what you're doing. Right now, please. You're risking your life, the mission, and...
Billions of tax dollars.
Everyone turns, stares at Tran. He shrugs with resignation. Exterior, surface of Mars, day. Cockpit lander now half buried in a rust-colored sand dune. Blue fumes swirl up from it. Hatch pops open. In a bulky spacesuit, Meghan clambers out. Glide walks several meters away. Sinks to her knees. Pulls from a spacesuit compartment the glass vial. Opens it. Sprinkles the contents over the sand. Extends a gloved hand. Her fingertips touch the Martian surface.
Mission accomplished, Cal.
Fade to black. The end.